Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play a song by Elvis Presley called Little Sister. And it starts out with a cool little intro around an E major chord. When we play E major, first finger goes to the G string on the first fret, second finger on the A string, second fret, and third finger on the D string, second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an E major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the third finger and making it an E7 chord, or kind of taking the pinky and adding it on the B string on the third fret. Or randomly, another one of my favorite voicings whenever I see E7 is an E9 chord, where you do the first finger on the D string on the 6th fret, second finger on the A string on the 7th fret, third finger over the G, B, and E. Kind of working that as kind of an E9 can be a cool idea too. And through the song, actually, it's a really cool bluesy feel. Now, you could kind of work that as kind of a down idea, kind of E, and I'm adding in a little bit of muting to kind of make that a little sneaky. Or you could do a down, down, up, up, down, up strum pattern, which is one of my favorites. Kind of that. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. Or a cool variation of that could be a down, up, down, up, up, down, up. Kind of a down, up, down, down. Now more notes to swing that way. Or even alternating between those two patterns would be cool. Or randomly, there's this really quick rhythm that you'll hear in the beginning, at the very beginning. If you kind of dig on this, just kind of throw this as a, if you dig on it, it's kind of a down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, 16th note strum pattern. So you could kind of work it that way too, and this would be really fast and kind of an advanced way of doing it. But kind of play around with too. Now in the bass part through the intro, you'll kind of hear this cool little lick where you can play the open E twice, 4th fret on the low E string twice, 2nd fret on the A string twice, and then 4th fret on the A string, and then 2nd fret on the A string. So it's kind of this E, E, G sharp, B, C sharp, B kind of idea. It's like almost a little arpeggio, but it's also a cool little blues lick in general. And you can kind of get that to work around some blues licks if you kind of know that 1-1-3-3 blues lick, kind of first finger on the A string, second swing into the third finger on the A string, 4th fret kind of idea. Or you can even kind of follow that lick. That bass line kind of changes into kind of an E, 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 and then 3rd fret on the low E string, and then open E. And you can even work that as kind of a lick too. If you kind of dig on that. And then you hear this cool little guitar riff come in where you could kind of play the E major chord, and then go 3rd on the high E string, open E, 3rd on the B, open B, 2nd on the G string, as a hammer on the 3rd fret on the G, and then a pull off back 2, and then open G. So it could all happen on one pick. Kind of a 2nd fret on the G, hammer on the 3rd fret, pulling off with 2nd, pulling off with the 1st finger, and then you could go back to the E chord at the end, or you may want to just make it just the E note, kind of that 2nd fret on the D. So we're going G, B, E, B, or D, B, and then A sharp, B, A, G, E, G, E, D, B, A, or A sharp, A, G, E. Could be a cool lick to kind of throw in around the E. In general, through the tune. So you may want to play around with that. And then from that intro, actually, we can go into our chorus part. And our chorus starts on the E major chord. We do that 4 times. And then we go to an A major chord. We play A major. First finger goes to that D string on the 2nd fret. 2nd finger on the G 2nd fret. 3rd finger on the B string 2nd fret. If you strum all those together, it sounds an A major chord and it sounds really happy. Now you may also dig on lifting off the 2nd finger, making that an A7 chord. Or you could readjust the fingers and put the pinky on the high E3rd. Kind of work that fret for your A7. Or if you dig on bar chords, you could do this as a 5th fret bar, 2nd finger on the G6, 3rd finger on the A7, kind of work that for your A7. And then from the A7, we go back to our E, and then we do another E, but then we go to a B7 chord. And you could kind of do this in root position by doing 1st finger on the D 1st fret, 2nd finger on the A 2nd, third finger on the G second, pinky on the high second. Now working that for your B7. Or if you kind of dig on this, you could take the third finger and flatten it over the G, B, and E and work it as a B9 chord. Or if you're digging on the power chords or the bar chords, you could do first finger over the 7th fret, second finger on the G 8th fret, third finger on the A9, and kind of work that as a B7 idea that way. And randomly, if these actually the movable bar chords, if you got enough of a stretch with the pinky, you could almost kind of get that blues idea to happen around those chords. So now I'm kind of using my pinky on the B7 to kind of go all the way to 11th fret. And when you get to the 5th fret for the A, you can kind of do it on the 7th fret on the A string. So it's kind of a pinky exercise idea. And then from the B, we go to a C major that doesn't last very long. And you probably could stay on B7. But the way you play C major, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the D 2nd fret, third finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about adding in the pinky on the G string 3rd, making that a C7. Or if you're digging on the 9 shape, you could do the first finger on the D 2nd fret, second finger on the A 3rd, third finger over the G, B, and E. Kind of make that just kind of a B9 move to a C9 move, and then back to B9. Kind of working that shape as kind of a slide idea. Or if you're digging on the bar chords, you could go all the way to 8th fret on the low E string, or bar over the 8th fret. Second finger on the 9 on the G, third finger on the A10, and kind of work that for your C7. And then that way you could kind of work it as kind of a movable idea from that B7, C7, B7, and then from there we'd be back to our E. So we could kind of work that with kind of those variations of strumming, kind of that the down idea. B7, and then kind of C with a down, down, up. B7 with a down, down, up, and then you're back to your E. Now if you're digging on the lick though, kind of that 2 to 4 swing idea kind of on the A string, you could kind of take that idea and then do that same bass line even kind of working on the A and the D string for your A licks. And then when we get to the B7 and the C7, you may want to try kind of doing those pinky moves to kind of get that idea, get that blues swing idea kind of going on there. So if we tried using licks through the chorus, we'd have the E, or you could even mix them up with the other parts too. That can be a very cool way to do it. A licks or A7 chords, or maybe the lick. B, C, B, E. So we want to kind of play around with that idea too. And then from there, we'd be going into our verse part. And our verse does E major. We end up doing 6 E's, and then we do a big stop time on an E. And then you'll kind of hear where we come back in with kind of a da 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 da. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Almost like a whole measure of kind of down, 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 down. Kind of this big push at the end of the verse. We tried it through our verse, then we'd have our E. That lick. More E. We gotta ring it on E. And then ga 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 ga. And then we come back in on our chorus part. So now one other thing I think about adding to the song though is bass notes. And a lot of times on the E, you could kind of look through in the low E string for your bass. That's kind of the bass down, up, down, or even kind of a bass up, down, kind of an idea. So you kind of dig on that. And on the A, you have the A for the bass, you do a root position A. On the bar A, you have the low E string for the bass. And on the B, you'd have the A for the bass, unless you're doing the 7th fret bar for the B. And on the C, you'd have the A bass, unless you're doing the C7 with the low E string for the bass. So we added basses to our chorus. We have that E. next verse. If we try adding basses to that, we'd have the E. And it would come back in on our chorus part. Now you may want to kind of take all these ideas though and kind of figure out how you want to do it. It can be very cool to kind of mix it up between all these ideas, actually kind of going back and forth between them. They'll be going into our next verse. We'd have the E or the E. We have our big stop tone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ga 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 ga. And then we come back in on our chorus part. And so we're back to our E. Then we go into kind of an outro that's like the last part of our chorus. Kind of our B, C, B, E, C, B, E. And then you may want to go crazy. Kind of a big E. But that's the basics of how you get strung through Little Sister by Elvis Presley. So good luck!